Hello lovely people out there, how are you all doing? I'm Kate Hill and welcome to another Advisable Advantage Property News Update. Now, we do give you the best and honest, balanced commentary and content on our channel. So before we get started and we do anything else, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so that you're not missing out on all our fabulous content, our news updates, our hints and tips around buying, owning and investing in property. If you're enjoying our free content, please click on that like button too. Now, you might be sitting there wondering what qualifies me to be standing here talking to you about property buying, owning and investing. Like, who the heck are you, Kate? Well, we are professionals in this field. At Advisable, we have been in this space for a long time. We are also qualified property investment advisors, and we do genuinely care about empowering you and helping you to get the best outcomes from your property buying. We are experts at what we do. We are not amateurs sitting in our basements YouTubing about this. We attend auctions, we appraise property, we analyze and buy property. We are out there every day at the property coalface. And if that hasn't convinced you, I don't know what else I can tell you. So this week, I'll give you a quick overview of what the October 2020 budget means for Australian real estate and also some other news, including the market over in WA and some median days on market data. So while I would rather you watch the whole few minutes of my lovely little video, you can of course skip along to each particular segment that you are interested in if you don't want to watch the whole program. You can also watch one of my other videos here, and I've listed it in the description below, to get a more in-depth discussion on the latest from the Melbourne property market. So the big news this week is, of course, the federal budget. It was 7 months overdue, but our long-awaited budget has now been delivered, setting out a plan for economic recovery post-COVID-19. The Federal Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg, has declared that this budget is all about jobs. He said that there is no economic recovery without a jobs recovery. There is no budget recovery without a jobs recovery. But all that doesn't come without a cost, of course. The government is forecasting net debt will peak at $966 billion, or 44% of gross domestic product, GDP, by 2024. Mr. Frydenberg called this debt a heavy burden, but said it is a necessary one to responsibly deal with the greatest challenge of our time. In a bid to kickstart the economy and increase consumer spending, the government said it will bring forward stage 2 of its personal income tax plan by 2 years. But what does the budget have in store for Australia's property markets? Well, firstly, the 2020 budget has allocated funds for a number of major projects, which I have listed here. Now, you might be wondering why this is so important. Well, infrastructure development is one of the most powerful creators of capital growth in real estate, whether it be transport, medical, educational infrastructure. The development of these projects is a strong economic driver. It generates business activity and jobs, which creates demand for real estate. Now, arguably, the most powerful is transport infrastructure. The 3 R's of real estate: roads, rail links, river crossings, including bridges and tunnels, can transform the appeal of a location by improving accessibility. It's common sense, right, when you think about it. So areas previously unattractive to buyers because of the distance, perhaps in terms of travel times, to key destinations like town centres, shopping precincts and other major facilities, can be revolutionised by a new motorway connection, upgraded train services or a new bridge. Transport infrastructure projects are massive generators of economic activity, and these projects are usually measured in the billions of dollars, and jobs created directly usually number in the thousands. Secondly, we have been promised an improvement of the first homebuyer opportunities. A statement from the Treasurer outlined that the additional places would be available from the 6th of October 2020 to support the purchase of a new home or a newly built home. The First Home Loan Deposit Scheme, FHLDS, allows eligible applicants to purchase a home within certain price restrictions based on location with a deposit of just 5% without having to pay lender's mortgage insurance. Originally, 10,000 places were made available in the First Home Loan Deposit Scheme for the 2020 to 21 financial year, with all 5,000 non-major lender quota places filled within the first 3 months of the financial year. The opening up of new places in the scheme does have a tighter set of requirements than the initial scheme, restricted to the building of a new home or purchase of a newly built home, which was not a requirement of the original scheme. The Treasurer said that the additional guarantees will be available until 30th of June 2021 and will drive more construction and support jobs as part of our economic recovery plan. The First Home Loan Deposit Scheme can be used in conjunction with the First Home Super Saver Scheme and Home Builder grants, as well as relevant state and territory grants and concessions. The measure will stimulate activity in housing construction and is estimated to generate an additional $800 million in economic activity. Thirdly, we are promised a boost to affordable housing. The federal government has also indicated it would be extending its guarantee for the National Housing Finance and Investment Corporation, the NHFIC, by a further $1 billion, which will go towards the construction of more affordable housing. The NHFIC, established in the 2017 to 18 federal budget, provides low-cost, long-term loans to registered community housing providers to support the supply of social and affordable housing. This takes the total concessional finance that has been made available to community housing providers to $3 billion, according to Mr. Frydenberg. It is in addition to the $4.6 billion a year the government provides in rental assistance. The government will spend $600,000 over the next 4 years on the two guarantee measures, along with an independent review of the NHFIC to establish whether it is meeting its objective of improving housing. And this has been included as part of the Job Maker plan, as the moves are set to drive jobs through housing. I will, of course, give you more news on all of these developments as they happen. Now, in other news, we are finally starting to see listing and therefore sales numbers increase, according to CoreLogic. The number of new for sale listings in the combined capital cities increased by 0.7% in the 4 weeks to the 20th of September. Sydney, where the number of new listings rose by 382, recorded the highest increase. Perth also saw an uplift of 286 listings. Listings in Brisbane were up by 235, Adelaide was up by 137. Consumer sentiment is rebounding and transaction activity is also therefore gradually improving nationally. Now, Perth stands out as the market primed for recovery here. For the 4 weeks ending the 20th of September, Perth and regional WA were the only dwelling markets where the new listings volumes exceeded the numbers in the equivalent period of the previous year. The results signify that sellers may be more confident in selling their properties in this area. Now, some median days on market data gives us more insights into trends in buyer demands. So this is typically the number of days that pass between an initial listing of a property and its contract date. So when it's been sold, an offer's been made and it's gone to contract. When days on market rise, and so they're taking longer to sell, it would generally indicate demand for property is slowing, potentially giving buyers a bit more bargaining power perhaps. Conversely, a trend towards fewer days on market implies homes are selling faster and there is a reduced opportunity for negotiation. So nationally, the median time on market for a typical dwelling was 45 days in the 3 months to September. Now this is lower than in the June quarter when of course we had strict social distancing that slowed our transaction activities. 45 days is 1 day higher than from the March 2020 quarter at 44 days, suggesting demand is just that teensy-weensy bit more subdued than in the months leading up to the pandemic. But like I continue to say, like with national house prices, this doesn't show you those regional variations. It lumps everything into one bucket. And to give you an example, you can see here in this chart that in regional New South Wales, days on market fell to 57 days over the September quarter, showing fewer cheap buying opportunities, whereas in regional South Australia, they rose to 119 days on market, showing that the chance of securing a potential bargain is much higher. However, across the combined capital cities, typical days on market were tight around April 2020 at just 30 days, reflecting that upward trajectory in prices and generally strong market conditions pre-COVID. Days on market rose to 44 days in the 3 months to July, before easing over September to 40 days. Our regional markets showed a fall in typical days on market over September to 47 days. Now this is tighter than pre-COVID conditions, where typical days on market were 59 days in the 3 months to March. This tells us that overall regional markets are tightening more so than the city markets, and really that is where the demand is growing. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave us a comment below, tell us the kind of content you'd like. Hit that like button too, we do really appreciate your support, and I will see you soon. Bye.